We are hearing new stories of strength and resilience after the tragedy in Newtown. And one man says if there is any strength to be found after this ordeal, it lies in the brave students that survived that day. Last Friday morning, Gene Rosen discovered a group of students in his driveway near the Sandy Hook Elementary School. But it was not until he brought them inside, comforting them with stuffed animals and some juice, that he learned exactly what they had just been through. He was so inspired by their perseverance in the face of such tragedy, he is sharing the lessons he learned from these young survivors and why one of his greatest hopes now is to someday see them again. Gene Rosen joins us live now from Newtown. Mr. Rosen, thank you so much for being here. God bless you for the help you provided those young children in such a traumatic moment. Take us through it if you would. You walk outside of your door, you're about to go and get some breakfast, and what did you see at the end of the driveway?
I saw 6 children at the end of the driveway, and I saw a man speaking kind of harshly to them in a loud voice saying, "It's going to be all right, it's going to be all right." And I thought it was a skit or a play, or some Cub Scouts were rehearsing. They were sitting in a very orderly way, and I had no clue that anything had happened. When I started getting closer to them, I could see the distress and the fear and the disorder they had just witnessed. They seemed out of breath, and there was a school bus driver with them. And I said, "Come on inside, come on inside." And they just followed me.
How did you first learn, and it was 4 little girls and 2 little boys, that they had just run literally from Victoria Soto's classroom, a teacher who was killed in front of them?
I didn't learn about it till around 15 minutes or 20 minutes into their stay at my house. I brought down my grandson's stuffed animals, and they played with them. They didn't say very much. I brought them some juice, and then they seemed to be calmer, and we went to a different room. And then it all started unfolding, and it started this way. This boy said, "We can't go back. We can't go back to the school. We can't go back. We don't have a teacher. We can't go back." And they kept repeating that. I could not fathom what they were saying. I could not take it in what they were saying. And then one of them said, "Our teacher is dead. We can't go back. Mrs. Soto is dead." And I think one of the girls said there was blood in her mouth, and she fell down. And then somehow they escaped. And Megan, I don't know the details of their escape. I don't know how they escaped. But they must have run some portion of the road that is next to the firehouse, and were picked up by a school bus driver. And I don't know how they escaped. But until I saw Victoria Soto's name in the casualty list, I could not believe it, because it was unfathomable.
They were within inches of dying themselves, and it was moments after when they were in your home. What was their affect? I mean, kids, they're so resilient. They don't understand evil the way we do, and they don't understand horror the way we do. So what was their affect when they were with you?
Well, they were initially kind of agitated, and then the stuffed animals seemed to calm them down. And then they told their story, and it just was so hard to believe. And then, as if God had sent down a little angel, there was a respite from the terror. And one of the boys, who must be a very assertive, clever, direct boy, he changed his composure, and he put up his hand, and he said, "Just saying, your house is very small." And I wanted to hold him, and I thought at that moment, he had just brought us out of hell for just a moment. And I'll never forget that.
Oh, Gene.
And my desire is to have the parents call me and to reunite with these children and to read to them and to be with them and to love them and to let them know that I'll help them find the light because they were in the darkness. That's what my hope is.
Gene, what happened in terms of contacting their parents? I mean, the parents of these children were frantic that afternoon, and of course, I'm sure the children wanted nothing more than to see their moms and dads as soon as they could. How did you make those phone calls? How did that happen?
Well, we start calling their numbers because they told us their numbers, but we would get their home phones. And the school bus driver had the presence of mind to call her supervisor, who must have had their contact list, all the details of their contact, and she started calling the parents from some office, I assume, and then the parents start coming, and when they came in, I felt so joyful. I felt more joyful than I could ever tell you, and there was a hush in the room, and I think the kids spoke very haltingly and quietly, as if they were whispering a horrible secret. But their parents were so relieved, and I was so happy. I was so happy for them.
Oh my goodness, I can't imagine for those parents hearing that their children were safe and were at this other location, because the parents were all waiting for children at the firehouse. That's where the police had directed them. And so these parents' children would not have been showing up at the firehouse, and yet there they were at this respite, having been rescued, rescued themselves, and then with the help of you and that bus driver, staying safe. Gene, I know that sadly those were not the only parents you faced that day. After the children went home with their parents, you got another knock at the door.
This was the worst thing that happened. This beautiful woman came to my door. She was so pretty, but her face was frozen. It was frozen in fear. It looked like stone, and she was looking for her son, and I know that she felt God was going to give her a miracle, and so did I. And she named her son, and she said, "Is my son here?" And she said, "I heard 6 kids were here." And I said, "No, he's not, but maybe he's at the firehouse." This was well after I think the children had been accounted for, and I walked down to the firehouse and I lost her. I think she went away. And later in the day, I looked at the casualty list, and her son was on it. And I want to see this woman and shake her hand and hold her. I want to pray for her. I can't imagine. I can't imagine what she experienced. I wish that boy had been sitting on the couch. I wish I could have given her boy, but he perished.
It's
for no reason.
You can understand the desperation of those parents once they heard that there were some children who had saved themselves and gotten to safety, in wanting to hold on to hope that their own child might have been one of them. I want to end on this, Gene. I know you said in the interview that you want to see these children again, and the parents are comforting their friends. The parents of the children who found themselves at your house that day are the lucky ones, but they are comforting their friends and going to funerals this week. Why is it important to you to see those 6 young children and their folks again?
It is what keeps me doing these interviews. It is what lets me sleep a little at night. I want them to call me Grampy or Uncle Gene or that guy or hey you. I want to hold them. I want to be with them. I want to tell them that there is light after the darkness. I want to read to them. I want to read a book to them. I want to be with them. I want to give them a special gift for Christmas. I want to tell them that I will love them forever and ever. They will be in my heart forever and ever.
Gene,
I pray that their parents will call me when they can. I know they will.
you've already
know
given
they're
them a
grieving
special
now.
gift. You were there. You provided safety, a stuffed animal, you know, a place of warmth and safety when they had come from something very different moments earlier. I know that you have a background in psychology, and you said your degree did not get you through this. It was your grandkids, seeing your own grandkids' faces in your minds. That's what taught you everything you needed to know. Gene Rosen, God bless you. Thank you for being here and telling your story, sir.